Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to the channel. So, as you can see, starting in this video, we are starting our very first sort of massive project. This one is going to be the first half, or part one, of the harbor. I plan on having two parts. It may bleed over into three, but two parts is where I'm shooting for. And so far, this has taken me, since I released my video last Monday, I have been working on this. I actually just worked on the last part of this video about 15 minutes ago. So, yeah. Some parts of this video you'll see as I go through. There's sort of like jumps or cuts where maybe a building will change, or the direction, or not direction, but maybe the orientation of some blocks, or the decoration blocks, something along that line will change just kind of, it seems like, in a fraction of a second. And really, that's just, I cut the recording, jumped over, changed it, and sort of went on. Now, this harbor here, port, I guess it would be, so like the harbor is the area of water, and then the port would be the actual artificial structure. But this port here is actually going to be one of at least two ports of the city. I'm kind of shooting for maybe three ports here, and I'll show you the map if you're interested in the next video. If you are kind of interested to see where this relates to all the other builds, let me know, drop a comment down below, and I would be more than happy to show you guys sort of where it relates. It's actually relatively close to the fantasy village that we built. So I am actually pretty pleased with the way that this dock turned out. So I have these two tiers, or three tiers if you count the one down there at the bottom. And you'll see here later on in the video, I actually go through and change this up a little bit more. So that back wall, I was just going to end it kind of where you see it right here whenever we finish it. And then I decided later on, you know what, it actually needs to extend. It needs to wrap around that little hill there to the left. And whenever we build the next project, which is going to be more of a continuation here of the harbor. Like I said, this is part one, so next video will still be part two of the harbor, or of the port, whatever you want to call it. And then the video after that should be the next project, unless, like I had mentioned, this does bleed over into three. It shouldn't, but you know. So yeah, the next project that we build will be, kind of incorporating, or be incorporated here into the harbor, sort of. So yeah, you can see here, I just kind of go out and build these, build the piers, I guess is what they would be called. I don't know why I decided to build that little angular one in there. I just thought maybe it would sort of mix things up a little bit, kind of have some variation, so not all the piers are coming out this way. And then I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to loop around to the other side and build this one out too. So as you can see, this side is a little bit wider. The rest of them are only 4 wide. This one is actually 6 wide. I thought about doing some of the front harbor as wide as this, but this is basically if you have larger ships, or later on you'll see if it is for that cargo ships, then this is the warehouse side of this port. So that's kind of why I decided to do that, mainly so you can put more storage down there and it not be in the way. So right here's where I was talking about with the whole, kind of extending this piece, extending the retaining wall here. This is on the right side. I do go back over and change it here on the left as well. But it was really just to add in, so I could add in some of these staircases. So right here on the middle of the screen, you can see there's a staircase that goes from the bottom up to the top. I didn't have that, and then I decided to add it in off camera. And then that's actually whenever I decided, hey, let's build these retaining walls and sort of extend them around this corner. And at the end, I am really pleased with the way that it looks also. So if there's anything that you guys sort of think should be changed, let me know, drop it down. I'm not really too concerned about changing too much of this. It's just one of those projects I just wanted to kind of go get some blocks down and see what came out of it. And like I had said before, I am very pleased with the way that it looks. I'm very pleased with the way that it turned out. But yeah, if there's anything that you guys would like to see put down in here, or anything that you think should be changed, then do let me know. And not this little bit here on the left side of this retaining wall. Okay, I had my numbers completely messed up for some reason, and it cut it from a 5 wide in between there down to a 3 wide. I have no idea, but it did it to this the left side of this one here as well. It is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. Most of it will get covered up whenever we get the buildings in here. Speaking of buildings, this is, you know, the first one here, obviously. I wanted this to be more of an archway, really like a gate to get up to the second floor or the second tier of the port. I kind of decided, you know, later, whenever I was building the buildings, I kind of decided that instead of being a military port, it's just going to be more of a, I don't even know what the word is. Not really a commercial, not a civilian port, nothing like that. It's just kind of, it just gets used for whatever it needs to be used for. So if there's a little bit of cargo coming in here, some cargo can come in here, you know, fishermen can come in here. If there's traders coming in from kind of across the waters from different lands, they can come in here. So then I changed this thing from a gatehouse, which I guess it still technically could be used as one. If you needed to shut down this port for some reason, you could close gates in here and then, you know, but it really turned out very well. I just decided to just throw a bunch of blocks in here, and with all the buildings, just throw a bunch of blocks in here, see what worked, see what didn't. And I'm not really used to that kind of build style, but it's just something that I wanted to try out. With vanilla Minecraft, you only have so many choices, so you kind of have to go with what you got, you know. And I've been learning a little bit more with this build style. I've been kind of seeing tricks and stuff that work. And in this building here that I'm building, you can actually see that play out very well. So it's this magenta or pink terracotta down there, and then just straight to calcite, and then just straight to brown terracotta. And that would be incredibly jarring if the building was just outstanding on its own. So I decided I'm going to just add on a whole bunch of decorations and stuff to kind of break up that immediate change back and forth, and it works out really well. So with those done, I just kind of move over here to the market stalls. Really, whenever I build market stalls, it's just kind of whatever comes out, comes out. They're just stalls. There's nothing really crazy about them. They kind of get overshadowed with the whole colorful canvas top on them anyway. So, you know, it's just most of them somewhat circle, somewhat square, somewhat rectangle. That's it. Now, whenever we come over here to this building, I had a tiny little section here that I wanted to fill in, and I was like, I have no idea what to put there. I was going to put a market stall, but with this balcony there beside of it, it didn't really work out that way. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to build a tiny little shop here. It's actually like 4 by 6 or something, to give you an idea. So the interior is literally 2 blocks. Like 2 blocks by 4 blocks. That is it. And I got to thinking, well, what could it be? So then I actually changed it into a sort of a permanent market stall. So maybe the person that sells whatever wares lives at the bottom, or lives at the top, and then they sell their wares out of the bottom. I thought that might be pretty cool. So then across from that, I just had this little section. I decided, you know what, more market stalls. Why not? And the cool part about market stalls is, like I said earlier, you can just kind of grab some blocks and throw them down, and whatever shape comes out, comes out. I tend to swap, you know, around the different pieces of wood and stuff. Here you can see I actually throw in some, I think it was this one, or maybe that one over there. I actually threw in some stone for it, and you know, it kind of blends in. Okay, so now over here on this side is what I was talking about earlier. This is the kind of the more warehouse side of things, the storage side of things. So these are variations of my warehouse tutorial, actually. So version 1 of the warehouse tutorial, it was actually a lot bigger, and I moved them down to this size. So that's actually the cool part about doing that build, is you can tweak it and manage it to however you need it tweaked and managed, and it still works out. So here I have one that is a bottom and a top with a sort of crane, I guess you would call it, or a winch that sort of sticks out. You can lift up pallets of things, stick it up on the top and lower them, you know, whatever. The second one that I'm building here is just a real simple sort of storage facility. There's an upstairs, there's downstairs. There's no crane because it's not meant to hold bulk things. Just maybe some chests, some barrels, that sort of thing. Then whenever I moved over here to this one, I wanted it to be different than the other two. So I wanted the warehouses to kind of look like they were built at different times. Maybe like this one was built because they didn't have enough space, so then they built it out of different materials. And I wasn't too keen on the basalt. It kind of blended in a little bit with the retaining wall that it sits on. So I actually go through afterwards and change that to make it look more wooden. So maybe it was like they threw it up kind of quick because they didn't have the storage space. They just needed it up. They weren't worried about the stone. They just threw up a bunch of wood, and there it is. So with this one, it was a bit of a challenge, though, because I did want it to match the other ones. I didn't want it to blend in with these ones. I just wanted it to be kind of its own thing. So it has some terracotta, has some wood, all that kind of stuff in there. It also has one of the winches up here, or the cranes, whatever you want to call it. But I tried to blend it in, try to blend in the terracotta with a bunch of different greeblies and details, like you can see there. It kind of blends out, but I obviously swapped it over to the wood, and that just kind of is what it is. Now this right here is a crane that I'm building. I thought for sure that I've seen the design somewhere, so I don't want to take credit for it. I just kind of built it out of whatever was in my mind, but I feel like it's like, I don't want to take full credit for it, is what I'm saying here. Because, like I do go through and detail it and stuff a little bit with these chains and all that stuff, but I feel like I've seen the base model of this crane somewhere, so I don't want to take full credit for it. So if you know where it is, or if you've seen it before, let me know, and I'll be glad to give that person credit. But I just kind of messed around with the chains, with the grindstones, to give maybe some pulleys and stuff. And with that, that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, so pop back next week for part 2, and hopefully we'll finish the village, or the harbor, the port. We'll do the upper part here of the structures, and there will be some other parts that I'll blend in here. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So with that being said, drop a like if you liked it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. If there's anything you would like to see me build, drop it in the comments down below. And yeah, guys, I will see you later and catch you on the next one.